You are chained right now, not by iron shackles you can see or feel, but by invisible routines you defend like sacred armor. Every single day you repeat patterns you call discipline, tradition, even wisdom, and you have absolutely no idea why you do them. You tell yourself they serve you. You tell yourself they make you better. But deep down, in the quiet moments you avoid, you know the truth. These habits are quietly destroying your life. And the Buddha saw this coming 2,500 years ago. He told a story so unsettling, so brutally honest, that once it sinks into your bones, you will never look at your own daily rituals the same way again. In the ancient hills of India, where the sacred Ganges whispered secrets to the wind and the air smelled of sandalwood and distant rain, stood a modest monastery carved into the red rock. Its walls had known centuries of silence. Its stone floors had been worn smooth by the bare feet of monks seeking truth. And at the center of it all lived a master whose presence alone commanded reverence. His evening prayers were legendary. Monks traveled for weeks through jungle and dust just to sit in the shrine room with him, breathing in the heavy incense, listening to the low chant of mantras that seemed to dissolve the world itself. But there was one problem: a restless cat. This creature was no ordinary stray. It was wild-eyed, restless, a shadow that slipped between the folded legs of meditating monks like smoke. Every evening, as the sun bled orange across the horizon and the bells rang for prayer, the cat would weave through the room, brushing against ankles, crying out in sharp, piercing meows that shattered the stillness like a stone thrown into still water. The sacred silence cracked. Focus splintered. The master's deep presence fractured under the constant disruption. One evening, after the cat had ruined yet another session, the master did what any practical man would do. He took a length of rough rope, led the animal to a wooden post just outside the shrine room entrance, and tied it there. The cat protested for a moment, then settled. Inside, the prayers began. The room fell into perfect, unbroken stillness. The incense burned straight. The mantras rose like smoke toward the carved ceiling. Peace had been restored with one simple, practical act. No one questioned it. Why would they? The master knew best. That night marked the beginning of something far more dangerous than anyone could imagine. Years passed like the slow turn of the seasons. The master grew older, his beard silver, his steps slower on the stone path. One quiet dawn, surrounded by his most devoted students, he closed his eyes for the final time and left this world. The monastery mourned. The bells tolled longer than usual, but life, as it always does, continued. That very evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills and the time for prayer arrived, one of the senior monks rose without a word. He walked to the entrance, found the cat, the same restless creature that had survived the master, picked up the rope, and tied it to the post exactly as he had seen done 1,000 times before. Because that was what you did before prayers. No one paused. No one asked why. The cat was tied. The prayers began. The silence returned. It felt right. It felt sacred. It had always been this way, but the original reason had already begun to die. Decades slipped by like water over smooth stone. The first cat grew old and passed. A new one was brought in from the village below, a younger, equally restless animal that threatened the same disruption. The monks did not hesitate. They tied it to the same post, at the same time, with the same quiet reverence. New monks arrived, young men with shaved heads and hungry hearts, fresh from the noise of the world outside. They had never known the original master. They had never witnessed the original problem. They only knew the tradition. They watched the older monks, copied their movements, and assumed the wisdom lived in the repetition itself. The monastery grew. Its reputation spread along the trade routes like wildfire. Scholars arrived with scrolls and ink, documenting the ritual in elegant Sanskrit. They wrote long treatises about the spiritual symbolism of the bound cat, how it represented the taming of the restless mind, the binding of desire, the surrender required before true prayer. Pilgrims began to travel from distant kingdoms just to witness the ceremony. They stood outside the shrine room at dusk, eyes wide with awe, watching the senior monk tie the animal with slow, deliberate hands. The cat had become legend. The rope had become holy. The habit had swallowed its own origin whole, and no one noticed the body disappearing inside the walls. The ritual was performed with flawless precision every single evening. Incense lit, bells rung, cat tied, prayers chanted. The monks told themselves they were honoring the lineage. They told themselves this was discipline. They told themselves it brought them closer to awakening. But the truth was simpler and far more terrifying. They were moving through motions whose purpose had been forgotten generations ago. The master who first tied the cat was long dead. The problem he solved no longer existed. Yet the chain remained. And then one ordinary evening, everything changed. A young monk, newly arrived from a small village by the river, sat among the others in the shrine room. He was still raw with the world's dust on his robes, still carrying the questions most men bury before they reach adulthood. As the senior monk prepared the cat, the young man watched with fresh eyes. He saw the rope. He saw the post. He saw the quiet, reverent faces of men twice his age performing the act as if it were breathing. Something inside him stirred. Not rebellion, not disrespect, just pure, unfiltered attention. When the tying was complete and the room settled into silence, the young monk spoke. His voice was calm but clear, cutting through the heavy air like a blade. Why? The shrine fell deathly still. The incense smoke hung frozen. The senior monks exchanged glances. One opened his mouth to explain the deep spiritual symbolism, the ancient lineage, the sacred tradition passed down through generations. Then he closed it again, because in that moment, for the first time in 40 years, no one in the room actually knew. The question hung there like a living thing. The young monk looked around at the faces of men who had spent their entire adult lives repeating a gesture whose reason had vanished long ago. He saw the weight of it. He saw the quiet horror of realization spreading across their features. And in that silence, the Buddha's teaching landed like a thunderclap. This is what the Buddha called the chains we cannot see, the habits, rituals, and routines we perform not because they serve us, but because we have simply forgotten to stop. Not every addiction screams with craving. Some arrive dressed in the robes of discipline, some hide inside devotion, some look exactly like wisdom passed down through centuries, defended with great conviction, written about in holy texts, until one honest moment of attention reveals the devastating truth. The original reason dissolved long ago, and only the empty motion remains. You are living this story right now. Look at your life with the eyes of that young monk, the endless scroll you open before bed, the notifications you answer without thinking, the way you react to criticism with the same defensive anger you learned as a child, the morning routine you defend as non-negotiable even though it leaves you exhausted and disconnected, the relationships you stay in because that's how it's always been, the goals you chase because society told you they matter, even though your soul feels nothing when you achieve them. These are your cats tied to the post. You didn't create most of them with intention. You inherited them. You copied them. You assumed they held wisdom because the people before you performed them with confidence. But the master who first tied those habits is long gone. The problem they once solved no longer exists. Yet you keep tying the rope every single day, telling yourself it's sacred, telling yourself it's necessary, telling yourself it's who you are. The Buddha did not tell this story to strip away every ritual or destroy every routine. He told it to demand that you stay awake inside them. Every habit you carry, every pattern you repeat, every routine you defend without examining it. Ask the question the young monk asked, why? If you can answer it clearly and honestly, with your whole being, then the habit serves you. It is alive. It is true. But if the room inside you goes quiet, if you reach for an explanation and find only the memory of repetition, then the cat has been tied to the post for 40 years, and the master who knew why has been gone for a very long time. Your life is the monastery. Your days are the evening prayers. And somewhere, right now, a young monk inside you is looking at your chains and asking the only question that matters. Why? The rope is in your hands. The post is waiting. The choice has always been yours. Will you keep tying the cat, or will you finally set yourself free?